Barigalust! Welcome to the AWWA Armenian Voices, where Armenian stories live, breathe, and are passed on. In each episode, you'll hear real Armenian voices sharing personal stories about culture, family, and identity. Stories that help us stay connected to who we are and where we come from. This week's stories are all about the power of love. We hope you enjoy this episode, brought to you by the Armenian Women's Welfare Association, AWWA, where our mission since 1915 has been to honor, uplift, and care for our elders, advocate for their voices, and honor Armenian heritage.
Hi, my name is Lilit Movsisyan. I was born in Gyumri, Armenia, a city where the streets carry both the beauty of survival and the weight of memory. I lived there until I was 15 and then moved to Year 1 to pursue higher education. I'm now graduating from the Year 1 State Institute of Theatre and Cinematography majoring in art management. But my real education began much earlier in the arms of my family, in the echoes of stories and in the silence of what wasn't said. Growing up Armenian meant growing up with a quiet kind of courage. We didn't always have much when our family went through hard times, but there was always this deep sense that we were carrying something sacred. My grandmother's sister, Angela Taghstagian, used to send us clothes and food from the United States. I remember opening those packets as a child, not just feeling relief, but a quiet sense of being thankful. It felt like love traveled oceans just to reach us. And one day I hope to visit the USA and thank her children in person. My grandmother, Asrik Taghstagian, often told us stories about her father, a man who helped save more than 100 Armenians during the Armenian genocide. In his honor, Armenian families built the Saint Karapet Church. She would speak his name with deep respect, and in those moments I feel that history lived right there in our kitchen. My roots stretch far to Tertiol in eastern Kilikia, once part of the Armenian kingdom, and to Syria, where my paternal grandparents were from. My grandfather was from Aleppo, my grandmother from Damascus. They understood Turkish fluently, but they always told me they would never speak the language of those who made them leave their homeland. My grandmother's least favorite day was April 24. Every year her grief would sit quietly at the table. She passed away on that exact day as if her heart couldn't carry it anymore. I miss her cooking. I miss her hummus, her manti, her love served warm in every dish. And I miss her stories, the kind that didn't just tell you about the past but reminded you who you are. I think being Armenia is not easy. It means carrying a fire that others tried to put out but couldn't. It means carrying a trait you didn't choose but must honor. It's not just in the songs we sing or the food we eat. It's in the spirit in our bones, in the sorrow in our silence, in the way we keep building even when things fail. That's why keeping our culture alive matters to me, because we are more than survivors. We are storytellers, and if we don't tell our story, someone else will, and they will get it wrong. I bring my roots into everything I create. So I filmed in South Korea a documentary that highlights the collaboration between physicist Kiejin Lee and Armenian scientists. And my motivation of carrying out a project in South Korea was inspired by Jungkook from BTS. With this story, I want to show how Armenian ideas, spirit, and hard work can be earned even the scientific of another country. film was not only about science, it was about cultural dignity. It became a bridge where knowledge meets our story and our story stand with pride. My first documentary film on Hovhannes Came was screening in Turkey on the Armenian island of Kinayal'da. I often think of my grandparents who were born in Syria after the genocide, carrying the deep sorrow of exile in their hearts. They never imagined that one day their granddaughters would share an Armenian story on the same land their family forced to live. And I believe that if they had seen that moment, they would have been proud, because their granddaughters stood there not to speak of grief, but to speak of life, creation, and what carries on. And in that moment, I felt their quiet presence more strongly than ever. But deep down, I'm still that girl from Gyumri, unwrapping a package from America and realizing that even across the world, we are never truly alone. So, thank you for listening. I'm Armenian, and that means I'm made of memory, hope, and love.
Thank you for listening to our podcast today. We hope today's episode offered insight into the Armenian experience. To explore more resources or make a donation to help further our mission, please visit www.awwainc.org. That's www.awwainc.org. Your support makes a lasting difference.